UFC Vegas 110 is this Saturday night. We have 13 fights headlined by Steve Garcia taking on David Onama in the main event. I'm going to go through each and every fight as always, starting at the bottom, working my way to the top, giving all my picks and betting thoughts on this entire card. So let me know in the comments what bets you guys have locked in, who your favorite underdog is on this entire card, because there's a couple I do like and a couple bets I do have locked in already. So like this video, click subscribe, turn your post notifications on because we will be going live this Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern with two great guests. They'll be giving a bet on every single fight as always. So if you missed that live, check out the show afterwards in the live tab of my channel. I will add timestamps. And speaking of which, congratulations to Couch Warrior on winning the Wager Wars Championship. He did defeat Pick'em MMA at UFC 321 and reclaimed his title. So shout out to him, and don't forget to watch the show this Thursday because I think you guys will really like the guests that I have on this week. Last but not least, man, if you're looking for a new sports book and you want to check out Bet 105, use my code CodyMMA or click the link at the top of the caption and you can get an extra 50 when you sign up. You can also check out all their promotions for all different sports going on, especially, of course, MMA. They got the split decision insurance. If your fighter loses by split, you'll get 25% of your money back. Let's get into this card, man. First fight on the card, we got Talita Alencar taking on Ariane Carnelossi. Carnelossi been in the UFC for a long time, but she hasn't been very active. I know she has had some injuries. I know Alencar has dealt with some injuries too. I think there's been some mental health stuff going on the Alencar side. Not that I like to get into a ton of that, but when she's been openly saying it, so something to at least think of, especially when you're looking at a big favorite. On paper, I do understand why she's a pretty big favorite. She's a wrestler, she's a grappler. Carnelossi, her whole problem has always been that takedown defense. Striking's decent. Obviously she's jacked, she's athletic, she's got some physical gifts, but her strength and conditioning pretty solid. But Talita probably is going to be able to get takedowns here. I just 35 years old, only 7 pro fights. The fights we have seen, everybody can take Demopoulos down. It is what it was. It was a really good matchup for her. And then the Luciano fights, was I that impressed? No. Look, I think she should be the favorite, but I think this line is wide. I think even plus 200 is value, but this was the very first bet I made on this entire card. Carnelossi plus 250. It's like plus 210 is the best line right now. It opened at like plus 385 on Bet Online. I don't know how much you could put on that and how long it lasted, but then it stayed for like 5 days at plus 250. So, if you got it, I know a couple other people with me got in on that with me. Look, I think Alencar probably look under my head. I'll be honest. I thought about taking Carnelossi straight as a pick. I'll say Alencar probably wins, edges a decision, but this is probably going to be a close decision. And Alencar, I don't know if she's all the way checked in. I know that Carnelossi, has physical gifts on everybody. She's fought a lot of tough girls. She's pretty well rounded. On the feet, I think she has advantages. So give me Alencar as the pick. I guess I'll say I might honestly switch that up. I want to see Alencar, later on in the week, but I might take Carnelossi as a straight up pick. But I'll say Alencar decision. But I did bet Carnelossi, and I still think, you might not have got the best lines. But even at plus 210, plus 200, I think that's still value. I think it's going to be a close decision. But next up, we got Phil Rowe taking on Sung-Ho Ko. And, man, Ko, he's got to be a favorite for me, right? Because, I bet him as a huge underdog, like plus 400 against Cavalcante. This guy ended up being, I don't even want to say a fraud. I just think they were just trying to build him too soon. One of these guys who would just beat absolutely nobody and was just super green. I actually think he does. He's super young. He has potential, but, too green. Big underdog. He cashed there easily. And then I bet him as plus 390 against Oban Elliott. And that was, not only that's almost better than when they just, I'll say best sweat-free is just a knockout in like 10 seconds. But, the next best thing is just thoroughly outclassed Oban for 15 minutes. Barely got touched. Grappling, outstruck him, just did everything. And Phil Rowe can be taken down, so I get it. I do think, obviously, I've been pretty high on Ko. I think, he's got good leg kicks on the feet. His striking can be a little basic. It'll be a little low volume sometimes, but, good leg kicks, good straight shots down the middle. I mean, obviously it's going to be tough to get into that kind of contest with Phil Rowe. So I think he's probably going to want to grapple. And yeah, Phil Rowe has been taken down. His grappling is good, but his takedown defense isn't the best. Man, this is one where I played it kind of interesting. I haven't played one of these props in a while. It's probably been a couple months since I played one of these props. But, I mean, I saw it, and, I just think that the line is off, man. And look, I think Phil Rowe has never been a minute winner. He has that's not even a think. He has never won a decision. Let me just double check that. I believe he's never won a decision. And 0-4 when fights go to 15. Now, yeah, I don't usually play these kind of props. You guys know me. I don't get too cute. I like the money lines. But I actually took Phil Rowe inside the distance only. Scorecards equal no action, plus 130. You could still get plus 115, but plus 130, I think, really interesting line. I don't really get it. It's not like I'm not trying to wiki cap. Ko been knocked out in both his losses. Phil Rowe never been finished, but it's not even beyond that. It's like Phil Rowe's just always been super durable. I don't think Ko's got a ton of power. I mean, he's got like 6 knockouts, so he's been finished. But his Asian regional scene, I think he could get clipped. He could get sparked if they strike for too long. But if it goes 15, yeah. Rowe's just never been a minute winner. So rather than take his money line, I like the Rowe inside the distance only plus 130. I'll bitch out of it a little bit as well. I'll say Ko by decision. I really do clearly like Ko a lot. I mean, I've bet him a lot so far, but I think I got to go the other side and try to fade him, but I'm going to do it a little bit interestingly. Phil Rowe inside the distance only. Scorecards equal no action plus 130. We move on. My pick is Ko by decision. I think it's probably going to be a good fight that goes 15 and Ko edges it, but if it is a finish, I think it's Rowe. Mazara Canelo Ruiz taking on Alice Ardeline. Yeah, Ardeline's a girl I've been higher on than most. She could have won that Shauna Bannon fight, honestly, and I bet her in the last two. A lot of people were saying she beat Martinez. I honestly didn't think she beat Martinez. I've been robbed in some decisions this year. This was one where I thought Martinez won. She was just, a little too quick. Just kind of outpointing her on the outside with her speed. But Ardeline's well-rounded, She's better than that record. I think the UFC are actually trying to throw her a bone. They've given her some, Shauna Bannon and Ryan Dos Santos are not good. But at the time, Ryan Dos Santos was supposed to be, something. I mean, I faded her for a reason. And she's also tiny, but, Ardeline's, she's well-rounded. She's, pretty strong. She's obviously, she's got some fucking ass on her. So she's, pretty strong, can hold girls up against the cage and throw her down. I love how I tried to be PG for a second, and then I just said, screw it, and went worse than I was originally gonna. But anyways, Ruiz, you probably remember, in her one win, she beat up Cheyenne Velismas, or Buys at the time, with just a head and arm throw. God, I can't believe that was almost 5 years ago. That actually that blows my mind. I remember where I was sitting when I watched her head and arm throw her 50 times, and then, remember that was the one where Cheyenne said she spit on her, and she was like, I'll follow you home, bitch, or something like that. Buys then cheated on her husband with, Delidze, right? And then, Anyways, Roman Delidze. Eduardo Mora just finished her like a year or 2 years ago. She's coming off she's tiny. She's coming off a hell of a layoff. So she's a big underdog for a reason, man. Look, is she going to come in here and hit that dumbass head and arm throw on Alice Ardeline after a 2-year layoff, come in here and do the same thing? I mean, geez, that would be the most women's MMA thing of all time. Head and arm throws straight up. Even in jiu-jitsu tournaments, you only see those in the women's division. I'm just being honest, man. I'm just being real. Like, it's a low percentage move, especially in MMA. But, it is what it is. Alice Ardeline by decision. I don't think she finishes her. Ketlin Vieira taking on Norma Dumont. This is a good fight, man. Honestly, how is this on the prelims? Like, you guys know, I might hate on some women's MMA sometimes, but this is actually kind of important fight for the division. These are two girls that could be like one win away from the belt. So, I've always been super high on Norma. I don't think I've picked against her once. Just think she's pretty freaking good. Tough, durable, good cardio, good boxing, good jiu-jitsu, pretty solid wrestling. It's just, man, Vieira's a tough matchup, man. Like, Vieira, yeah, she did straight up cheat in her last fight. Macy, freaking against Jason comes in. They have to change the weight class last second. One of those. She pulled a fucking Kelvin. I said Kevin. But, yeah, still, I mean, Vieira's got good takedown defense. You added an extra 10 pounds. That definitely helped her. But still, good takedown defense. The only girl that's actually out-wrestled Dumas was Macy. And, yeah, Vieira cheated against Macy. And, yeah, that was years apart. But she did just out-wrestle her up. Yeah, I mean, look, I think Dumas does have the edge and she's got crisper hands, a little bit quicker, I think. I mean, the Apex is going to make it interesting, because if it turns into a grappling match or a clinch fight because of that, man, is there two girls who typically can, win those exchanges? Vieira's big and strong, though, man. I don't know if Norma's going to be able to bully her up against the cage like she can a lot of these girls. I don't know. It's a close fight. I think this going 15-2. I guess I'm seeing some decisions early. Like last card, shoot. Hey, that proved to be true. It proved to be pretty similar to how I saw it going. But, yeah, I'm going to edge Dumas with a striking advantage. But I think it goes 15. It's pretty close. I can't knock anybody taking a dog shot. Vieira's come through in those spots. What is she, 7-2 as an underdog? Yeah. So, can't knock it. But next up, we got Dante Johnson taking on Cedrica Dumas. You might recognize Johnson. I actually beat up a guy I know personally in Darian Abbey. But that was at heavyweight just a month ago? 2 months ago. Yeah, I mean, Dante, obviously, first of all, did I not already mention that? This is at middleweight, so he's coming down 2 weight classes. He'll actually probably end up going down again, because even at middleweight, he's small. Dude's 5'8". Cedric's, he's coming down 2 weight classes, and he's still, on paper, going to be way smaller, frame-wise. Now, he is jacked. Bro's thicker than a Snickers right now. But, jacked. 26 years old. Super green. Only been a pro for, 2 years or something. Been knocked out by a head kick on the regional scene. Cedric's got some solid kicks, and he's obviously got a ton of height and reach on him. So, he's got to be aware of that. But I think his wrestling's decent himself. And he's just got big power. And you got to see how it's going to translate, man. Be careful trying to parlay 4-1 when a guy's dropping 2 weight classes and fighting. Honestly, that on that topic, I'd probably be honestly taking a dog shot if this was just skill versus skill on paper and not fucking Cedric dumbass who's been arrested 25 times and just got out of house arrest fucking 3 months ago and has had the eye poke loss to Ruzaboyev. I honestly think he got screwed there, but it's hard to feel bad for him. And then that weird fucking loss Olazechek and then the fucking nut shot last, just weird stuff. Weird performances. Is he training? What's going on? What's his training camp like? You just can't trust him. Obviously, at least if you're going to trust him here, you don't have to trust him too much when you're getting, plus 300. But I think Dante wins. I think he probably finishes it, man. Probably first round knockout. I'm not going to probably bet this fight. It's just going to be a pass, man. It's a show me fight for Dante. 6 fights. New weight class. I want to get more data for my notes on Dante Johnson, and maybe we can attack him in the next fight. Or maybe we are, by attack, maybe we're just attacking his fight, not necessarily fading him. Next up, Timmy Kawamba taking on Chang Ho Lee. Decent fight. Kawamba coming down to 135. Debuted at 155, then came down, went 1-1 at featherweight. Now he's making his bantamweight debut, so another one you're going to want to watch the weigh-ins most likely, especially since the line's dead even, so probably might as well just want to watch, especially if you're laying a little bit of minus money on Kawamba. But, yeah, I think he probably can make the weight pretty well. I never thought he was, I said he was probably on the smaller end of featherweight, so, it's probably not a bad decision coming down. It's just, again, it's just a question mark you want to see, Maybe even though it's not the biggest weight cut, he's just not used to it, so his body reacts weirder. You never know. But, Chang Ho Lee's been pretty good, primarily looking to get guys down, take them down, get on top, pound them, find a submission if he can, pause. I tried to get past it, but I can't. Kawamba, though, I think his wrestling's pretty solid. I think it's gotten better. He's gotten a lot of good work in with some, good coaching, good training partners. I think his wrestling's, come along a lot. A lot of times when these guys go down, maybe you worry about the durability, but a lot of times, if they can wrestle, they're used to wrestling bigger guys. I mean, I know personally, when I go in there and actually cut weight and I'm wrestling little smaller guys, I'm always like, man, you're so tiny. I'm used to rolling around with, heavyweights in the gym and being the little guy. I'm you feel like a giant when I roll and you're in your own division. But anyways, I think Chang Li probably can get takedowns. I just don't think, is he going to be able to finish him? And is a takedown just a round? Is it a submission? I don't know if I see that. I feel like this, I hate to say it, I think this has a good likelihood of going 15-2. And if it doesn't, I think it's probably Kawamba getting, maybe a finish on the feet. I don't know. Kawamba's pretty green, but I think he's getting better. I want to see him weigh in. I want to see. This is probably because of the because he is a slight favorite and new weight class. Enough question marks. I don't know if I think Lee is pretty damn good, pretty scrappy, but I've seen him getting taken down too from guys that I don't think are were the best wrestlers, and it's not like he's beaten great fighters so far. So I think Kawamba probably lined pretty accurately. He's 26. I think he's probably getting better, but I'll lean Kawamba. Kawamba, honestly, decision. I hope I'm wrong, guys, but I'm seeing some decisions early on. Hey, I didn't see it in the last fight, though. But, yeah, we can move on to the next one, man. I do think Timmy Kawamba gets it done. I'm going to go decision. Moving on, Kevin Christian taking on Billy Alicana. Man, I went through and watched that Dana White Contender Series fight, and I remembered, oh, man, I forgot about this freaking guy, dude. I'll admit I tried to fade him on Contender Series. This season we went 8-2. We killed in Contender Series. Last season, the season Christian was on, I went 9-1, and the year before that 8-2 as well. So I missed Contender Series. It's so free, but this was one of the I don't lose a ton of money line bets on Contender Series, and I did lose one here. And now I'll admit that that opponent of his. It was that what was that Italian dude? Yeah, Mazzeo. I mean, he wasn't good, I mean, it wasn't that he was super good. He came in 3-0 as well, or 4-0. Super green as well. It's just, I don't think this Kevin Christian. I think this dude is bad, man. Like, I think he's bad. I think this guy sucks. I don't know how else to put it. He's big. He's big and tall. He's 6'7". He looks, I mean, I was gonna say it looks intimidating, but honestly, he's like a soft belly, 6'7". So, I don't like this guy, man. I don't think he's good. I think he's going to get beat up. I don't think Billy Alicana is good. They're trying to toss him a bone and give him a somewhat winnable fight. Alicana, had that staring match with Ibo Aslan in the last fight. Absolutely quit against Guskov. But that is Guskov, who I think is really good, and it was short notice. Let's give him a little bit of a pass there. Kevin Christian, this guy is a light heavyweight who's trying to win fights off of his back with triangles. Yeah, we'll see how that works in the UFC, man. So I said that maybe he's going to pull off the 1 in a million. No, I don't think Alicana is good, man, but I think TKO, please. Like, this guy's not good, dude. If you're going to be a UFC fighter, like, I think they signed this guy because he's big, decent enough record, and it's going to make for a good highlight reel. I mean, seriously, like, his striking is disgusting. I mean, his size, so he can, he's landed some nasty knees, but, like, my God, if you just have, like, somewhat crisp boxing or defense, like, you should pick this guy apart. Now, I'll say Alicana likes to use straight punches. Like, he's very basic. And just like 1-2, 1-2, jab, 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 1-2. That's kind of tough against a guy with an 80-inch reach. 6'7". But, I mean, dude, I think you box this guy up, man. Alicana, TKO. Let's move on, man. I spent too much time on that. Alan Nascimento taking on Cody Durden. Short notice for Durden. Oh, man. Look, I'm a big Durden fan. I like him. He's a cool dude. Some personal connections. I like to root for the guy. But I don't like this matchup, man. I don't like it, and it says 125 on Tapology, but I'm not. I mean, they announced it as a catch weight, so unless they change that, which that never happens, go in the opposite. But yeah, 130 only gonna help Nascimento, one of the biggest flyweights in the division. I mean, Durden's not a small flyweight, but I mean Nascimento's huge. God, can you stop giving him huge Brazilians? But I don't know. Nascimento, like, I think Durden could get takedowns here, and yeah, he's got the crisper hands, but Nascimento, like, on the feet, like, with his knees and his clinch striking, and then just if it goes to the mat, like, I just think he can sweep, find a submission. I don't know, man. I don't like this matchup for Durden. I think it's a bad matchup. I think Nascimento, probably submission. I'm a big Durden fan, man. I wish I could take him as an underdog here, but he's also been getting tired, you know, and I don't know if short notice is going to help that. I mean, 130 might help a little bit, but it's also going to help his opponent, who's fucking huge. I know it doesn't look like it here on paper, but Nascimento's huge, man. Give me Nascimento by sub, and we move on to the next one. We got Charles Radke taking on Daniel Frunza. Yeah, I mean, I guess I've been higher on Radke than some. I think this guy's pretty good, man. Like, he fought Carlos Prates and he fought Mike Malott. Two pretty solid fighters, you know. And I do think he's fallen a little bit in love with that left hook with his hands. He's got a nasty left hook and good power in his hands, good boxing, but not the most defensively sound. And I mean, he's a grappler, man. Like, I wish he would come in here and use his grappling. And you know, I know he's 35. The guy, we've seen him slow down. So, you know, is that against, you know, the younger man, probably, you know, only in his prime physically. I mean, that last performance was not good, but still showed heart. Did show heart and was still in there fighting. The doctor stopped it, but, you know, he wanted to fight. And I do think he probably has the better gas tank here. But skills-wise, man, like, dude, Charles, like, you should run through this guy, man. I'm sorry, like, I might look like a fool, but I don't see how a fresh Charles Radke doesn't like beat Frunza's ass. Honestly, I think Charles Radke's like, he's got good wrestling. His jiu-jitsu's good. I've seen his jiu-jitsu like on the regional scene. I've seen, you know, I know people who have trained with him. You know, I mean, I know this guy can grapple. I know he's got good grappling, good wrestling. His boxing's pretty good. He's got good power. I mean, the gas tank's not great. I've seen him slow down. Now he's only 35, or I mean, he's only getting older, like at 35 now for the division. You know, it's not great, but man, I think Charles Radke should finish Frunza, man. I probably won't bet it because at this point, like, I've missed the line, I think, but I don't know. I'll pay attention to the line, but I think Radke finish. I don't know. I'll be looking at props. I think Radke finishes Frunza, man. Like, the under, because if Radke doesn't finish, I mean, the only thing that scares me is if he's like, oh, shit, I really kind of need a win here. Let me kind of, you know, chill out a little bit and so I don't gas out again. But if he just fights like normal Radke, someone's getting finished, and I think it's Frunza. So the under, Radke inside the distance, that's kind of where my mind's going. But I'll take Radke KO, and we'll move on. Isaac Dalgarian taking on Yadier Del Valle. I can't remember if it's Del Valle or Del Valle, but yeah, I remember him. I'll admit, I tried to fade him with this Monteiro dude who showed crazy heart and, you know, well-rounded dude, but, you know, just couldn't quite. I mean, Yadier, he looked good. He honestly impressed me. I mean, going into that tape, I didn't really think he had that in him. It was a really good performance. And, you know, in his last fight, got that finish over Conor Matthews. And, yeah, you can say what you will about Conor Matthews, but, you know, Conor's pretty tough. And to finish him, you know, pretty solid. I mean, yeah, he's been finished. I don't think he's the best fighter, but it was a good win. He went in there as a big favorite and did what he was supposed to do. Dolgarian, I think Dolgarian's got all the skills, man. This dude's super good. I mean, I'm honestly surprised they're putting these two against each other already because I think they both have a lot of potential. Dolgarian, you know, he's got all the confidence. I mean, he's saying, I'm undefeated. I don't look at that as a loss. I don't really like that. I never like hearing that. I'd rather you just say, yeah, I learned from that. I thought I won. I thought I got at least a draw, but I made mistakes, so I got, I learned from that. Not exactly the kind of stuff I like to hear, but, still, confidence is good. I'd rather that than the other way. I think he can get takedowns at will, at least unless he gasses out again. I mean, and Del Valle always pulling that fucking guillotine. Like if he's pulling guillotine again, he's just gonna wind up on his back. I mean, he does got good submission, so maybe he can snatch one up, but he is gonna be the bigger guy. If you're going Del Valle, I think you gotta go inside the distance. I don't see him winning. I mean, unless Dogarian like completely gasses again, but I think. Dogarian should be the minute winner here. He should be able to get takedowns when he wants them. And his striking's pretty good too. And he's got some power in his hands. He can get a finish himself. So I'm going to go Dogarian. I'll say Dogarian. I'm going to say submission. I'm going to say Dogarian by submission. Fight in sub could be interesting. I'll say submission though. We move on. Jeremiah Wells taking on Thimba Garimbo. Oh, man. Garimbo coming off that loss to Vicente. And, I don't like... I'm back-to-back. I'm going to go into some talk stuff, which I never do. But, yeah, Garimbo, he did some interviews talking about, like, how his family, like, turned on him after the loss. And, all this crazy stuff. Like, I don't know, just super emotional about the loss. Like, he cut ties with all these people, including family members. And, like, I'll never feel that way again from the loss. I'm never going to feel like put myself in those shoes again. Like, this dude is, like, that loss really affected him, man. And, hey, I like to see that when I like to hear that you at least care win or lose when I'm going to bet my hard-earned money on you. But, I don't know. Jeremiah Wells, a guy, Renzo Gracie, got all the skills. Great jiu-jitsu, pretty solid wrestling, good power in his hands. Can be low volume, obviously we've seen, but, obviously, good counter-striking, big power. If he clips you, you're probably going down. And, Garimbo is tough, but, we've seen him get clipped. We've seen him get hurt. I think Jeremiah probably does need to finish him because I think Garimbo can't get takedowns. I think Jeremiah's got good jiu-jitsu and probably maybe could get a takedown early. But I think Thimba, especially as the fight goes on, and it's only going to help the case, now that Jeremiah is 39 years old. 170, it's a little up there. Never been a guy who had great cardio anyway. So I think Garimbo is the minute winner as well in this fight. Do you want to lay chalk after we just saw what happened against a guy who, maybe the performance hasn't been aging very good? I don't know. I think Garimbo wins. I think he should be the favorite, but Jeremiah is always dangerous. I think if you're going Jeremiah, probably want to just look at those inside the distance, KO sub lines. But, I'll go Garimbo. I'm going to go Garimbo. I'm going to say TKO. And we will move. I'm going to say ground TKO. And we will move on to the co-main event. Waldo Cortez Acosta taking on Ante Delija. Training partner Aspinall. You heard, Aspinall say he wouldn't fight him. He'd vacate the belt, yada, yada. That's not going to help. If I'm Ante, I'm like, fuck, don't say that publicly. Like, yeah, it might make you feel cool for a second, but that just means Dana's like, oh, okay. So, anything to stop this guy to get be the number one contender, heard. I think they could have gave him a harder matchup than this. If they're, even harder, for sure. There are harder ones, but I don't think it's an easy matchup. And, obviously this was already matched up before he said that. Otherwise, that might have been different. But, they're going to size up pretty well. Waldo is a little bigger. He's, the younger man. He's a little bigger. They're going to size up pretty well. But I do think Waldo, little less miles on him. Not just, I don't think that. Obviously, a lot less fights. But also in the fights, like, he's just not taking the kind of damage. And you can say what you will about Waldo's fights being boring and this and that. But he's not taking damage. So he's a young 34. So I look at him as a much fresher, bigger guy with the better boxing. Probably, Ante is going to be the better grappler. Probably does, have more power. Even though I think people are like, oh, pillow hands Waldo. No, he just doesn't really go for it, man. He takes his time. But if you bum rush him, and Delija did bum rush Tybura in the last fight. So if he does that, I mean, would I be shocked if a 260-pound man, Waldo Cortez, dropped him, finished him? No, I wouldn't be shocked. Yeah, I'm going to lean the dog, man. I don't think there's going to be... I mean, I think Delija would be smart to mix it up. Probably can get a takedown or two, but I think Waldo's grappling's gotten a lot better. I get it. He started as a boxer, but, you know, we've seen him round out his skills. I don't think it's going to be so easy for Ante to come in here and just take him down when he wants. So, you know, it hasn't been too long since I remember him fighting Maurice Green to a decision, okay? Friends don't let friends bet chalk on guys that took Maurice Green to a decision. And what's the line now? I try to do this less and less, but yeah, he is the line did flip. So kind of interested on the dog. Haven't bet it yet, but I'll take Waldo by decision. He might knock him out though, man. He really might. We'll move on though. Main event: Steve Garcia taking on David Onama. Solid main event, man. I know people were say, "Oh, it's not." Look, they're not name value wise. I get it, but this is an entertaining fight, man. I don't think this is going 25, and if it does, it's probably going to be a banger. Yeah, I think this is going to be entertaining no matter what. And it's two guys that have a lot of momentum. At least it's not some big name guy that's coming off, you know, 2 losses or something like that. These are 2 guys with a ton of trajectory, man. You know, Onama coming, you know, 4 straight wins, and yeah, maybe you could poke some holes in some of them, but even that loss, you know, he looked great, man. That that one, I love watching that fight because you just see Krause just freaking out because, you know, might have had a couple bucks on him, but yeah, I mean, watching Krause in the corner used to always kind of, yeah, I think he was a good coach, man. He fucked it up by getting greedy, but I have dropped a lot of F-bombs on this. Sorry about the monetization, but Steve Garcia has been on a hell of a run, man. Knocking everybody out that's not named Calvin Kattar. Obviously, Calvin got a hell of a chin, but, you know, Steve has been clipped himself, and I always give him a pass on the Ontiveros thing because people always bring it up when he fights, and I'm like, dude, the one thing Ontiveros can do is crack. Like, he's a big dude who has no defense, but he does have good offense, and he'll let him go. That's why he's always getting clipped. But, you know, it's kind of similar to Steve. So, you know, yeah, he clipped him. Okay, get over it. People literally the last 72, no, I'm kidding, but since that fight, every single breakdown, it's, this guy got dropped I totally off the field. So yeah, how'd that work out, guys? He is a beast, man. But, you know, now I'll be on the other side when I say, okay, I will say, I don't care about the fact that, oh, Charlie sucks so bad. No, but he has been hurt a lot, okay? He has been hurt a lot. Onama, man, I think he does have the better durability. I think, you know, both guys can crack. Steve Garcia is more of a wild man. Obviously, Onama stays pretty technical, a little bit more traditional and technical, but, you know, Onama's got hell of power, and Garcia's getting hurt all the time. You don't want to just be getting into I'm going to just fucking let defense go out the window and just let him go against a guy like David Onama. I mean, I guess Nate Landwehr did a little bit of that, but he also was using the grappling, and he was also getting him tired. And I mean, maybe Steve can get him tired. I think both guys, you know, we've seen get tired before, so where is their gas tank going to be in a 5-round fight? I don't know. Overall, man, I love Steve. I'm such a Steve Garcia fan, man. Like, and I've bet him on, you know, 3 of the fights on this run. So, you know, I want to be on his side. You know, I want to keep riding that train. But, man, I do feel like this could be a bad matchup. Like, I actually feel like on paper it's the worst matchup out of all these fights because it's like Onama probably does have the grappling advantage. Like, not by a ton. I don't think it's by a lot, but I think he's the better grappler. And then, you know, he's not easy to take down. He's a big, strong dude. And then, you know, good striking and good power. Good striking, good power, good takedown defense. Like, I don't know, man. I think Onama might knock him out. I think someone's probably getting knocked out, and I'm going to lean on the more durable guy. I'm going to go Onama by knockout. Honestly, if I'm wrong on this, I haven't bet it yet, but this is a win-win in my eyes. Because if Steve Garcia wins, this is probably another knockout. And he'll probably be the first to knock out Onama. And if he does, man, like, title contender fight or what? Like, this is a win-win for me, but I got to go with the plus money side. I'll go Onama by knockout. And, yeah, I might bet it because it is the plus money side. And, I swear, it's been like 3 times this year that I've... Okay, it's been more than that. But it's been like, almost every time, maybe all but like once, that I've picked an underdog. And then I picked them flat out and didn't bet it, and they won. So, now that I said that, knock on wood, reverse, I know. But anyways, haven't bet it yet, might bet it, but I am going to go underdogs in the co-main and main event. Let's run through them real quick. I'm going to go David Onama by knockout, Waldo Cortez Acosta by decision. Don't sleep. I know. I get it. Pillow hands Acosta, don't sleep on that one. Garimbo, I'm going to say TKO, ground and pound. Isaac Dolgarian, I'm really torn on the method, but I'll say sub. Charles Radke by knockout. Alan Nascimento by sub. Billy Alicana by TKO. Timmy Kawamba by decision. Dante Johnson by first round knockout. Norma Dumont by decision. Alice Ardeline by decision. Sung Ho Ko by decision, and Talita Alankar by decision. As far as my bets, I already have Carnelosi plus 250 locked in. I have Rowe inside the distance only plus 130 locked in. I'm eyeing those plus money lines with Onama and Waldo. It's only Tuesday, so I want to take some time to let the props drop on more books, but I'll be looking at, the unders in that Radke fight, or maybe a Radke, some of the Radke props. There's some, some of those Dolgarian volley props are counting calling out to me. Same as in that Dumas and the Nascimento fight. The Nascimento, I want to let the props drop on that. I want to see those because I think there could be some interesting ways to play that. But we'll talk more about that on Thursday. Wager Wars on this channel, 8 p.m. Eastern. If you miss it live, you can catch it on the live tab after. I will add timestamps for this video and that one. The only one I don't is the quick picks. Dude, if you need timestamps for a 13-fight video on a 13-fight 10-minute video, get help. Dude, it's on the fucking screen. Get help. People will literally be 8-minute video. Timestamps? Bro, I got to do 30 seconds intervals in the timestamps? Stop. It takes me longer to write the timestamps out. Like the video, click subscribe, turn your post notifications on. Don't miss the live stream Thursday 8 p.m. Eastern. You will love the guests. As always, I get the sharpest guys on. They'll give you a ton of good looks. Come through. Until then, we'll have the quick picks after that. I appreciate y'all. Make some money. Peace.